Hey everybody, here's Dominic from the Break It Down Show, coming at you today on Thanksgiving. Here's what I want you to do. It's Thanksgiving. Just have a great time and enjoy. I'm calling from Skopje, the capital city of North Macedonia, and while Pete's on vacation in Benicia, California, I'm filling for him on today's intro. You gotta release the episodes, man. You know how it goes here on the Break It Down Show. I wanna thank you all for listening and supporting the show. Today's guest is Lonnie Bedwell. He was a petty officer, but he was injured in a hunting accident and instantly lost his sight. But, as you expect, that not slowed Lonnie down. Among the things that Lonnie has done is summit Mount Kilimanjaro, kayak down the Colorado River, he blind skis, he's doing everything and he's not slowed down because he can't see. He's learned to adapt and overcome. He's a true hero. He was 2015 National Geographic Adventurer of the Year. I'm telling you, you gotta love this guy's energy, he's a powerful speaker, and today is our guest, and I know you're gonna love him. Now, if you wanna support the show, here's what I want you to do. Send us a picture so we can make a fan graphic. We're an international show and we are doing this because we love it. I mean, I'm doing this across continents, oceans, and time zones because this makes me smile in the morning, and while I produce the episodes and write that boring emails finding more and more exciting guests to help my buddies Pete, John, Scott, and everybody that's part of our show. And you know what? Let me tell you a secret. You're also part of the show. By listening and sharing with your friends and family, you're part of our show. We are one big family across the world sharing great stories of good people. Now, send that fan picture to pete@breakitdownshow.com. Come on, that's easy. On the charity side, you already know the deal. SaveTheBrave.org. Donate to these people. Let's help these guys out. They are fighting PTSD. We are tired of people committing suicide. Everybody again, happy Thanksgiving. You're going to love today's guest. And here it is, Lonnie Bedwell on the Break It Down Show.
Lions Rock Productions.
This is Jay Moore.
This is Greg Proops.
This is Jordan Harbinger.
This is Dexter from The Offspring.
This is Nathan
This is
East.
Sebastian Younger.
This is Rick Morata.
This is Stuart Copeland.
This is Mick Gillette.
This is Andy Summers.
Hey, this is Skunk Baxter.
This is Gabby Reese.
This is Rob Bell.
Hey, this is John Leon Guerrero.
Hey, and this is Pete A. Turner.
Hey, this is Lonnie Bedwell, and you're listening to the Break It Down Show.
And now, the Break It Down Show with John Leon Guerrero and Pete A. Turner.
I've got Lonnie on. Now, Lonnie, did Jason Piccolo connect us, or was it somebody else?
Aaron Hale.
Aaron Hale, who I got connected to via Jason Piccolo because the world revolves around Jason. For this week, Lonnie, we are featuring the stories of significantly disabled and injured veterans. Today's episode cracks the whole week off with a guy named Josue Barone, who was blown up in Afghanistan, lost his entire left leg all the way up to the hip, lost his left eye, and a bunch of other shrapnel type injuries. And what I found is when you ask someone when they have all of their senses and all of their limbs, and you say, what would be the thing you wouldn't want to lose? It's always sight. And yet here you guys are dominating with the thing that we would all want to lose. I don't know, like the thing that we want to lose the least. What is it? Were you any different when you had your sight? Like, would it be like, oh man, I couldn't imagine being blind?
Oh yeah, I definitely couldn't imagine being blind. Or there's so many of them though. I think whatever your injury is, it's just individual. I think of these guys, missing all four limbs, or that quadriplegic and deafblind. I mean, just you name it. There's just so many things that are out there, and I'm very fortunate. The only thing I have lost was my eyesight. So.
Yeah, like Aaron Hale is deaf and blind. He can hear through outside means, but basically he lost his vision and his hearing. You get the sense that you guys hit this barrier and somehow managed to blast through. And it's almost like every person that I know that's had one of these significant injuries, if they're able, right, you guys seem to just get almost superpowers. Like you get super motivated, super focused, and you just get after problems like your life depends on it. Is that your experience with your peers that have significant injuries, and is it true for you?
Yeah. It seems like you have this hump to overcome first, and then you can kind of do that. And everyone hits that hump at different stages. I mean, there's been some folks I know literally like 7-8 years before they realize that they can kind of go on and move on. I was just very fortunate that I had a little incident with my daughter when she was helping me mow just a couple of months after I lost my eyesight. It kind of set me onto my feet. And then my 3 girls really, really helped me get on my feet. And then once I got into this adaptive sports, it was, I met these 4 guys who all lost their eyesight as a result of combat in 2011. And kind of told them a little bit of my story and was invited to do some events with them. And at that point, I realized, okay, I've got to do this for just more than just me. I've got a purpose to do this, and that's to help show others that life does not stop with
that.
a
Seems to be a
disability.
common theme with those of us that have PTSD as well, and people that were in the service. We tend to want to be of service to others, and that seems to keep us alive and wanting to do more.
Always true. I think that's inherent within us. We served once, and we served for a reason. We just want to serve, and we just want to help others and make this country a great place to be.
Is this country a great place to be? What's your experience? Hey, this is Pete A. Turner from the Break It Down Show, checking in real quick to ask you this. John, Scott, and I all support Save the Brave with our time, our location, our effort, and our money. Each month we give a small amount. Do the same with us. Go to savethebrave.org, click on the Donate tab, pick an amount that you want to come out each month, and they will handle all the rest. I stand behind these folks. Thank you so much. Let's get back to the show. Is this country a great place to be? What's your experience?
I think so, in so many ways I do. I mean, we've got our challenges, we've got our issues that we've got to overcome, but I think if we want to, we can. And I say that from a standpoint, I just completed kayaking down the Zambezi River, the Potomac Gorge section over there. A group of us did. And when we were standing on a riverbank, a local Zambian man told me, he said, Lonnie, over here, we don't teach the blind. We simply have them stand on the corner and beg. And I thought, wow.
Yeah.
Do they think we're that irrelevant, and at least over here, we don't have to beg. We might not realize that when we first start losing our eyesight or whatever the case may be. But as a nation, we do have the ADA. We got all these things out here trying to make a difference and give us a pathway through. So I think that's good.
Yeah, that is. I mean, when I was a kid, and I'll be 50 next month, or no, sorry, I'll be 50 in January. I'm aging myself before I have to age myself. Someone missing a leg or someone who was blind, it was a totally different situation. I mean, it wasn't normal to see them continue on and work like a regular person. It almost seems like there are very few things that are truly disabilities anymore.
Yeah, in some ways. I'll agree with that. And there are definitely ways or paths to overcome to where you can do something. And that's the big key, is just keep moving. And, this is Disability Awareness Month, by the way. And I do like to sometimes try to take that dis out of disability, if you will, that not able portion out of it, because I think we can find a way to do at least most things. A little help, a little differently, and I also personally, I reflect on that word from the standpoint of every person on the face of this earth, in my opinion, is truly disabled in some way. They can't do certain things because it's not their gift. Even when I had eyesight, I was never going to be a professional athlete or a singer. It just wasn't my gift. I didn't have that talent, but yet I can do a whole lot more than I ever thought I could.
Yeah, I mean, I guess when I say like we're taking the dis out of disability, I mean, you and I are communicating via text. By the way, Lonnie's blind. Via email, there's so many things that just that were limiters that would significantly require you to, like, I don't know. Do you even know Braille?
No, and that's the thing. I'll go along that same aspect of what you're talking about there, and that. I've been blind for 22 years now. I like to tell people I'm blind in one eye, just can't see out of the other one. But I'm totally lights out completely. But I think about that. The iPhone came out in 2008. Okay. I didn't get one until 2013, 14 in there somewhere. And what an absolute game changer.
Yeah.
The years I spent blind before I got the phone to the years after, no comparison. I mean, it's just opened up the world with all the different apps. The fact, like you said, I can do my own texting, my own emailing, my own everything. You know, there were some programs out there, but not quite successful. And then all the apps where you can scan barcodes, you can just literally take a picture of a piece of paper and get it to read to you, you know, tell callers, tell, you know, your money, scan your money and tell you what it is. Just unbelievable, the things that are out there.
Yeah, and then the other thing about all of this ability that's been provided is again, like losing a limb. I've talked to someone who's in the limb replacement business, you know, like he provides prosthetics. And he said that he foresees a day when doctors will preemptively amputate because the natural limb, you know, in its diseased form, is no longer better than the replace. And he's like, and that's already true in so many instances where, like, if you've got peripheral artery disease, they would rather take that leg and give you something that performs significantly better than your leg currently does. You know, it's remarkable to think that losing at least a leg can be something that actually gives you freedom.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, totally. And you can see that a lot of what these guys are doing, gals. You know, you talk to amputees, you know, who lose the leg below the knee or above the knee. You know, it cracks me up. You know, they'll say, "Yeah, below the knee's a paper cut." You know, because you still got that knee joint. You know.
Yeah.
And but it's astonishing what these guys and gals do. I mean, it's just no stopping.
Yeah, yeah. You lose your eyesight in hunting accident, and among the things that you've done is kayak down the Zambezi River, the Gauley River, and the most lethal river I know of, the Colorado River, as a dude that, again, blind in one eye, can't see out of the other.
Yeah.
And we had Eric Weinmeier on, and he's done the same thing. But seriously, dude, why? Like, I mean, the Colorado River, you cannot swim in it. It will kill you. Right. I mean, I'm a swimmer. I can swim. You can't go in that water without some kind of external help. So why would you put yourself in that position? Oh,
why not? Mm-hmm. You know, it's just living life, you know, and you know, I'll not forget how I kind of got started into this adaptive sports, like I said, when I met those four guys. And then while I was up in snow skiing out in Snowmass is when I got introduced to mountaineering and rock climbing and kayaking. And I went to what we call an out of sight clinic up in Montana, where they take blind visually impaired veterans and introduce them to their first whitewater. And it was up there that I was asked to do the Colorado River and the Grand Canyon. And I thought, wow, what a vision and a dream. And I just practiced up for it. And I'll not forget that, you know, I was asked if I wanted to go do it on a raft. And I said, no, that would scare the crap out of me. I want to do it my own kayak. And so I got the opportunity. I had 14 days of whitewater under my belt the first time I did it. And then I did it again the second year. As a matter of fact, when I did it for my second time down, was with Eric Weinmeier. And then I did it a third time with a gentleman that was missing both legs above the knees and most of both hands as one of my guides. And the other guide was a gentleman who suffered traumatic brain injury and PTSD.
Hold on. Your guide was a guy that had no hands in a sport that requires significant hand and forearms control and strength.
He was missing all four fingers on his left hand. He was missing his thumb and bigger part of his outer three fingers on his right hand, and then both legs above the knees. And
in this crazy scenario, both legs above the knee, you know, you guys are sitting down, not that big of a deal. But I mean, how much footwork do you do in a kayak? Is it a lot?
A ton. It's huge. It really is. It's huge because you use that, and your knees, they go up underneath the thigh braces, knee braces to help you with stability and to do your rolls, you know, when you flip upside down. And so, he's got special rigging to help get him in there and kind of hold him in there. And it's just astonishing. As a matter of fact, a little plug here for that. There's a documentary that just made the Banff Film Festival. It'll show air for the first time at Banff in this October. It's called The Long Journey Home. That has the three of us, myself, the gentleman's name is Aaron, and Russell Davies is a gentleman with post-traumatic stress. Yeah. And Aaron Howe, the double amputee, and it airs there. it's a short, about a 22, 23-minute documentary, I think.
Yeah.
And then it'll make the world tour for Banff.
Wow, man. Well, I mean, good. I mean, obviously, good for you guys for taking life's adversities and making some fucking sweet lemonade. I just think it's great. That look, this country is great because we do care about folks that are disabled, and then we go, how do we just enable these folks so they're just folks again? And I don't want to be unfair to anybody that's got a significant injury, especially you, because I'm talking to you, but I don't even consider you guys disabled, honestly. I mean, yeah, there's some special considerations, but who doesn't have that? Like, I'm a little slow to get out of the car because my hips are shot, from combat.
Yeah.
Sometimes I got to limp for about 10 to 15 steps before all my joints get moving in the right direction. We all have something,
Yeah, that's the key there. But I think you're hitting on the key to the whole deal is you got to have someone believe in you and provide you opportunity. And that's everybody out there. At some point in our life, we just got to have someone give us a chance, give us an opportunity. And together we can figure this crap out and we can do it. And that's truly what it is. For me to go out here and kayak down that river by myself, impossible. Now, give me a voice to follow and voice commands to what I've got to do. We just, we did it. And so cool. And that's really what it's about.
Okay,
and,
so downhill skiing, you're going to go. And how long does it take for you to build that trust bond? I mean, obviously, these guys are qualified that you're going down the river with, right? I mean, people die in the Colorado River every year because it is dangerous. But what does it take for you to go, oh, you know what you're doing? Then fine. Who cares? Let's go do it. Is it fast for you where you're like, what's the worst that can happen? Hey, this is Pete A. Turner from Lions Rock Productions. We create podcasts around here. And if you, your brand, or your company want to figure out how to do a podcast, just talk to me. I'll give you the advice on the right gear, the best plan, and show you how to take a podcast that makes sense for you, that's sustainable, that's scalable, and fun. Hit me up at pete@breakitdownshow.com. Let me help. I want to hear about it. What does it take for you to go, oh, you know what you're doing? Then fine. Who cares? Let's go do it. Is it fast for you where you're like, what's the worst that can happen?
I tell people this all the time too. In my opinion, for someone like myself, you have to lose my trust, not necessarily earn it.
Uh-huh.
And because otherwise the progression would be extremely, extremely slow. Now, don't misunderstand me.
Right.
I had to walk, crawl before I walked and walk before I ran, all that stuff. But I do tend to put myself out there, I think, a little quicker than some, and maybe not as quick as others. But yeah, I just submit to the fact, okay, I got to trust them to do this. And, downhill skiing, I mean, I've been clocked slightly over 60 mile an hour one time, chasing the cowbell, snow skiing out in Aspen, Colorado, and doing all this kayaking.
How do you deal with the changes in the terrain? I mean, look, I get it. You're following a sound and everything else, right? But I also have skied and, each foot is doing something different, even if it's micro differences. And at 60 miles an hour, those little tiny bumps become big bumps and your feet get off the ground. How do you manage that? Like, where was your focus at?
It was on that bell and on my feet for sure, and listening to the guy, he'd tell me, getting steeper now, flattening out now, curving the left, try to hear that over the sound of the cowbell too. And, like I said, I hit that 60. Don't ever want to do it again, quite honestly, because the only turns we were making was the curve of the mountain, and my skis were just chattering, and I could hear that bell starting to sweep a little to the left or to the right. And I'm like, come on, catch an edge. Come on, come around there, and, but I was super confident with that guide. I skied with him several times that year. And, I'm not going to just jump in and ski with a brand new guide like that at all. But still, I might jump out there pretty quickly on some blues and blacks with a new guide and just go for it. So, yeah.
And then that guy he's skiing and he's saying getting steeper now. He's talking for himself. He's not looking back. He's skiing the shit out of that hill because you are too.
Yeah, a lot of times. And in all honesty, too, I guess I should step back. When I did that 60 mile an hour, I just had the one guide, which is, kind of cool that we did that. But I typically like to ski with one person in front of me ringing the cowbell, an earbud in one ear, and a guide behind me that's kind of helping, he's calling those other
Right.
commands. And
Right.
when I'm dualed up like that, it's really a lot more comforting feeling because they can just really kind of keep me under control a little bit more.
Okay, and then when I'm skiing, right, like I'm balancing a lot of things mentally, and obviously I can see everything, but there's always an element of I don't want to say fear, but there's some trepidation, especially as you're getting faster. You're like, I'm really going fast, and you can't focus for too long on that. But how does your brain sort through being technical, being loose, not being afraid? But finding your edge of your fear so that you're pushing yourself. How do you sort all that out and listen to two different, external inputs?
Oh, it helps when you don't have nothing between your ears. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, my dad tells everybody when I got shot, he said the only thing it could have taken was his eyesight because there's nothing else in between his ears anyway. So, I guess that's kind of not joke about it is I just it is kind of bounce back and forth and just making yourself overcome it.
Yeah.
I love to say these three things. When I talk about things that hold us all back in life, I think it boils primarily down to three emotions: foolish pride, fear, and pity.
Okay.
And that foolish pride is, I don't need help. If I can't do it on my own, it doesn't need to be done, and I can't, all this kind of good stuff. And none of us ever got to where we're at in life without somebody teaching us, helping us, guiding us. And then that foolish pride leads somewhat into that fear, which a lot of people have heard, FEAR, false evidence about reality.
Mm-hmm.
If I ask for help, they're going to think I'm weak. If I ask for help, they're going to make fun of me. Or what if I can't do it? What if I fail? Or what if I get hurt? And, you kind of got to overcome that because most of the time they're going to be glad to help you and you're not going to get hurt. And then that third thing is pity. I like to say PITY, poor information to yourself. Yeah. Oh, I'm useless because I'm blind. Whatever makes you feel sorry for yourself. And real emotions, all three of them are real emotions, but we got to learn to control our mind, not let our mind control us.
Right.
And we got to suppress those. And I think that goes into what you asked me is just that is, don't let your mind just totally take you out of living life. Just go out and live it.
Living life, right? I mean, that's so I wanted to get into this earlier, but this conversation is it's always fascinating, man. You guys inspire the fuck out of me. So you have all these things you do, you lose your eyesight. Oh, and by the way, life is still hard. Like you still have day-to-day hard shit, in my hometown. And I'm sort of like the mayor of my graduating class. We lost a guy, last week. We haven't even buried him yet, he committed suicide. And it's just heart-wrenching because life just is relentless. As soon as it I got your eyes from you, it's not done fighting you. So how do you deal with the day-to-day stuff? And are you as equally a champion at regular life, or has this given you some kind of superpower to be like, yeah, that's small stuff. I don't have my eyes.
Yeah, like I said, I find myself a lot of times whenever I think, dang, if I just had my eyesight. If I start to get really irritated about it, I truly do stop and pause and think, okay, Lonnie, once again, when you had your eyesight, you couldn't do this, this, and this.
Right.
And just step back and realize you can't. Now, on a daily basis, like right now, I'm at the tail end of remodeling my living room, hallway, kitchen, and dining room. And I did lion's share by myself. I mean, I completely gutted it. I rewired it myself, insulated it, hung drywall, had a little help with hanging some of the drywall, had someone finish it, but I laid all the floors.
I want to make so many jokes right now.
Doing the trip. Oh yeah, looks like a blind guy done it, right?
Right, exactly.
But oh yeah. I push mow out around my pond and road, and I've helped build I don't know how many, probably 30 houses. Something I didn't do before I lost my eyesight.
Uh-huh.
But I got into building houses after the fact, and like I said, I do framing, wiring, I set trusses, decking, you name it. Pretty much anything on the house, I help do it. And I still hunt, I still fish. I hunt with a guy that I was in an accident with, and I tell him all the time he's a lot better looking to me now than he used to be. So, but taught my daughters how to drive. Just use a chainsaw to cut firewood, clear fence rows.
Has
do all that.
losing your eyesight made you more like, I'll be damned if that's true. Like, has it made you more of a fighter, more of a resistor of the norm?
On one hand, yes. And on another hand, I don't think so, because, I don't just get out here and, like I said, I think it's truly important for people to not have such a chip on their shoulder that they won't accept help.
Right.
Because it's when we work together that we can truly overcome things and figure out the best way to do it. But having said that, there are times when I will say, no, let me do this. And I think I need to do that to show people that we can do it, instead of, because it's that balance of letting them help us to letting them just take over, and then they really don't learn from it. So, we got to teach people out here, that's the key. You hear so much, we got to teach people what they don't know.
Yeah.
And we can't hold them accountable for what they don't know. And I think, to me, that's a big thing that all of us with a disability have to realize is, be patient, teach them. Now, once they learn it, if they just want to be still jerks about, then bad on them, and just go on. But for example, like, how do you approach a blind guy or somebody in a wheelchair?
Yeah.
I tell people all the time. I've talked to enough friends of mine that are in wheelchairs, and I got a kind of a majority consensus, I think, that just like a blind person, first and foremost, you don't come up and grab a hold of us because you're going to freak us out.
Right.
I don't know what you're doing. So you approach and just ask kind of a two-part question. Hey, man, I'm such and such. Can I help you, or are you good to go? And the first part lets me know who you are and you're willing to help. But that second part, I think, is more important. Is, you got it, you good to go, means you believe in me. Like a blind guy sitting there, or a guy in a wheelchair trying to open a door. You don't always just automatically go grab that door and open it, because he might be trying to figure out how to do it on his own, trying to climb a mountain that he hasn't climbed yet. Don't bust his pride by just going and jerking on it, and ask first. And if he says sure, then open it, and if he wants you to let him go, let him go. And same way with me, I might be trying to figure out a way to get around something or to overcome it. So don't just come and take it out of my hands and make me feel, like I'm kind of like those guys over in Africa, irrelevant, no value, no purpose. Help me with it. And does that make sense, man?
No, that makes total sense. I mean, so one of my very, very good friends has ALS, and I worry, I'm positive this is true, I worry more about how I treat him than he is worried about it, And so my default is just to, like, fuck with him or talk to him and be his friend like I normally would, It doesn't mean I belittle him or make fun of him, but if something needs poking, I try to poke it, even though it makes me uncomfortable, because I don't want to treat him different. I like, it's not woe is Phil. It's, Phil's my friend, and look, he's fighting ALS like a motherfucker, and I'm doing all I can to help him out. So, but yeah, I'm way more worried about how I treat him to the negative, because I know he wants to do things himself, and I'm not going to coddle him. So you can't coddle, but you can't ignore. You can offer, and then just let the person do whatever kind of struggling they're going to do. Am I getting it right?
Yeah, I think so. I tell people all the time, they'll come up to me and they'll struggle with their words about, God, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say I seen that. Or did you see that on TV, or did you watch TV the other night? And I'm like, why not? That is normal language. To me, when someone comes up to me and tries to talk around my eyesight, they're identifying my loss of eyesight. If they come up and say, did you listen to that on TV the other night? They're kind of identifying it, especially when they pause before they say it.
Right.
If they just come up and say, hey, man, did you see that? Did you see this the other day? Or did you, and that's normal language. And,
it's normal.
And,
yeah.
Yeah. And I, now naturally, if it's people I know, I'll jack with them a little bit, and buddies of mine in a wheelchair, hey, you want to run down to the store with me? And, and that's normal language. That's what they want. They realize what I'm talking about. You want to go hop in the car or, just wheel down the road and, no, that's normal.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it is normal. How do I work it, though, right? Because not everybody wants normal language. There's a whole lot of folks who are like, hey, I need you to alter your language because it is harmful to me. And I'm not trying to make a political statement here, but there's two sides to this, right? You're like, hey, rock on, let's keep going, and, don't mind my ability to not be able to see. And the other person's like, hey, I wish you would use different pronouns or, whatever it is. So there's a balance there, and both sides get to be right. How do we navigate that? What are your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts are, to begin with, just like I said, start just by talking normal and treating us normally. And then we cannot I said this earlier, we can't hold each other accountable for what we don't know. If you want to be treated in a certain way, and I didn't know that, then once I start, then just let me know, and then I'll do my best to do this. And, and then once I know this is how you want to be done or treated or handled, if I don't do it at that time, then plug me, hold me accountable, hold me liable or accountable for that. But until I know, then you can't, It's just like the word, people like the word differently abled. A lot of people would prefer to use that than disabled. Well, I personally am just the opposite. I don't like, I would prefer disabled because it's an older term. It's a, American with Disabilities Act and all that. And differently abled, I don't want to be different. I want to be just like everyone, treat me like everybody else.
Yeah.
Don't plug that different in there already. And so, it does go both ways. And me personally, I do think our country has gotten to the point where, in my opinion, we're a little bit too thin on the skin with our political correctness. Like I said, I think if you can tell someone's saying it out of malice, then shame on them. But if they're not trying to be mean or harmful or hateful, then cut us a break or cut them a break, and until you educate them. So.
Yeah. Okay. So then let me ask you this. When someone does get your goat in terms of your ability to not see, however we're going to describe it, what does get your goat? What have you had to work through to be like, that gets me every time? Like they don't mean nothing by it, but it still just aggravates you. What's your blindness pet peeve?
My blindness pet peeve is kind of like I said, once I kind of know is when they just come and take something out of my hands because they don't think I'm doing it fast enough or correctly, Don't just come and take something out of my hands.
Fair enough.
That's my blindness pet peeve. Once again, give me a chance.
Right.
So, but like I said, I'm usually just pretty cool and pretty calm about it. I've been blind long enough to realize 99% of the people out there are very well intended. And you got to realize that their intentions are great and awesome. And quite frankly, I tell people all the time, blindness has afforded me the ability to see the best side of humanity, that kindness and caring that people have in them.
I mean, that really seems to be true. Like the person that you were before, and let's say that you were a solid dude, because I'm sure that you were, we're going on a path towards something great in your own right. Look what's happened since you lost your sight. It's like you've just been catapulted out, undaunted, going down rivers, skiing down mountains at 60 miles an hour. That's stuff that I'm going to guess you likely might not have done otherwise.
Probably not. Yeah. I didn't do any of these adaptive sports before I lost my eyesight, so I don't know that I can say I ever would have. Mountain biking, like I said, the whole gamut. I mean, there's not a whole lot of adaptive sports out there that I can think of that I haven't done or tried. And, and we get a kick out of sometimes pushing the limits, like me riding a mountain bike on my own. We took a zip tie, for example, and put it around the frame of the bike in front of me and stuck the tip in the spoke so it'd make a clicking sound while I rode my own bike. And, that just didn't work too well the first time. But, maybe it would work if someone would really take the time to really, really dial it in and get skilled with each other. And, it's just, I don't know. I just love, and I love talent. I personally, as long as there's a little bit of humility with it, because, like I said, it's a gift. These talents that we're given are gifts, and people around us are gifts.
Yeah. So, okay, what challenges are out there in front of you that you're like, I just don't got time. I'd love to learn how to speak Arabic and play the guitar or whatever those things are, right? What are those things that you're like, you just don't have time to get to?
Man, I don't know. More parachuting probably to where I could do it on an individual basis, and rock climbing. I just dabble in so much. I think just about everything. I dabble in so many different things. I'm not really getting skilled in any of them, and sometimes I think you'll just give up a lot of this other stuff and try to really develop a firm skill in one thing. But I don't know.
Yeah,
it's just
I hear you.
Of course, I don't know that I could ever master anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I definitely am a guy like that where like I just like too many things. I've had to prune back my hobbies because my job is also my hobby. So, like all of my hours go into podcasting, but you're right. It's, well, anyhow, so let's let that go. And then, you're not a young guy anymore, right? So how long can you
No, I disagree.
Okay.
I disagree. Last time I looked in the mirror, I was 31,
Mm-hmm. Perfect. So,
yeah.
Okay. So
but I'm 54, so yeah.
Your maturity as it approaches greater and greater, you're not letting that slow you down, and you'll just adjust accordingly as it comes, then it sounds like.
Yeah. It is true, though, what you're saying. Like, myself and a buddy of mine are going to go try to climb Aconcagua, I think, in January, and, highest peak in South America. And I told him, he keeps saying, well, we got to do this, we got to do this. And I tell him all the time, I said, dude, you're 20 years younger than I am. And I said, if we're going to try some of this stuff, we got to get on with it because, I'm not a young pup anymore. And I don't recover near as well as I used to. So. Right.
Yeah. So when folks want to reach out and get a hold of Lonnie, you can do that on his website, LonnieBedwell.com, LonnieBedwell.com, Lonnie Bedwell, just like you might see it. I'll put it in show notes so you guys can find it. But Lonnie, what do you do for a living? I mean, obviously you're not carving pencils and weaving rugs and all that old bullshit that we used to have blind people do. It's almost like, let me just say this. When they line up the career fair and they're like, if you're willing to lose your eyesight, you can become a motivational speaker, someone that, skis down mountains and careens down river gorges that kill people and put their mouths inside of lions' mouths. Like, it's like the coolest shit that you guys get to do. I mean, granted, you got to be, blind to, really get the maximum out of it. But it's just crazy, man. I'm looking at all the pictures on your website, and it's just crazy, all the things that you do. And there's a picture of you just hugging a giant rock as you rock climb up it. You're remarkable, brother. You're just remarkable.
I appreciate it. Like I said, just blessed with opportunity, man. That's truly what it amounts to for me, and people that do believe in me. So it's cool.
By the way, Lonnie also climbed Devil's Tower. You know that thing from Close Encounters of the Third Kind out in Wyoming? He climbed that thing. So, I mean, again, like when they have the job fair, Lonnie won because your job is awesome. Talk about some of the stuff you're working on and how people can put you to work and what you offer in return.
Well, like I said, I'm involved with a little organization. We do corporate retreats. Take people out camping and hiking for a couple of days to have them disengage from the social world and put their iPhones down, and they get the opportunity to kind of guide me around through the mountains or the rocks where we're going and different events. Yeah, so that's an opportunity that's kind of out there. And then, like I said, I still work on houses and stuff a little bit here and there. And my presentations, I do like to go around and do a lot of speaking engagements and presentations. I really enjoy that. And once again, you said it earlier, you can contact me through my website, LonnieBedwell.com, and my email's on there, and different ways to get a hold of me. So.
All right, everybody. So Lonnie Bedwell, look, he's on Facebook a little bit, but the best thing is just go to Lonnie Bedwell, and honestly, just link with me, and I'll get you his email, because Lonnie is, man, I just think the world of you and what you're doing and just your attitude about the whole thing. I mean, You got the jokes, you got the levity, but you also got the tenacity to do some remarkable things for someone, no matter what condition their body is in, whether they're blind or sighted, whether they have their legs or not. You guys, you and all of your peers they're such an inspiration. And man, I think the world that you've sorted your way through this to give us all something to hang on to and get a little better with.
Thank you, man. And I guess another thing I'd throw out there is if anybody has an event or something they want to do and they're curious if we can do it, call us and find out. Help us create those events and opportunities that are out there. That's another thing I've been blessed with the opportunity to do. There's so many nonprofits that are out there that are willing to take us if they could find us. And now being a part of the Blind Veterans Association Operation Peer Support Group, we're taking people doing all these things, the snow skiing, and cycling and mountaineering and stuff. And I guess I'd put that out there also. If you know a veteran that is looking for an opportunity to try to do something, please contact me through my website, because chances are we can get them engaged. Doing something, we can get them engaged. So please contact us. Contact me.
All righty, everybody. Lonnie Bedwell. Lonnie, again, thank you, brother, so much. Let's keep in touch and keep doing it. Anytime you have something to talk about, bring you and some of your wacky friends on, and let's see just how crazy you guys get next.
Okay. Appreciate it, man. Thanks for what you do, too, because it's through podcasts like this that people do become aware and people do learn. And, man, can't thank you enough for the opportunity and for what you do, and keep on keeping on, man.
I got no choice. I got to do it.